Hello, thank you for joining us for Life of Hope again. And today I'm very pleased to have another guest with us. This is Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. Could you tell us a bit about yourself?
I'm 36 years old. I have two children, a 3 and a 1 year old, and I live in Milton Keynes.
Great. Okay, thanks. And what do you want to talk about today?
I'd like to talk about postnatal depression
Okay,
because I
thanks.
myself have suffered from that. And I think there's a lot of myths and misconceptions about postnatal depression, and a lot of kind of taboo about talking about it. So I'd like to share my experience.
Okay, yeah, please tell us a bit more about what happened to you.
I have a 3 and a 1 year old. My first it was difficult, but I mean she was lovely, and it was fine. The second time, so when I had my second, I suffered from postnatal depression, and I didn't even realize it for the longest time. I had a lot of kind of weird kind of misconceptions about what postnatal depression was. I, from soaps, had the idea that you just didn't bond with your baby, and I remember watching an episode of Neighbours where there was a lady who was suffering from postnatal depression, and she went out and she started shoplifting, and so I had this kind of idea in my head that it was about attachment and about not feeling right in your head. And for me, I was having a really hard time. My littlest, she didn't sleep from the moment she was born. She just did not sleep, and she suffered from colic and from silent reflux. So for hours and hours and hours, she would just scream solidly, and she would get, I was getting 1 or 2 hours sleep a night, and I was also having a toddler to raise as well. So I was just really, really, really stressed and really tired and very miserable. And I think they say that the SAS they have a weekend training where they do torture training where they have sleep deprivation, and they play the sound of a baby crying, because it's one of the most kind of worst kind of aggravating sounds for anyone to hear. And when it's your baby, you want to be able to fix it. And I felt like, the basics I was not getting down, like, being able to help my baby to sleep or being able to kind of to fix their pain. I could not do either of those things. So I felt like I was just letting my child down. And it was a horrible, horrible experience. And there was no one really, I felt like I couldn't really talk about it either because, I'm a mum. It's hard. Everyone expects it to be hard, but you're also expected to kind of just get on with it. And you don't really want to talk about how difficult it is because you don't want it to feel like you're failing as a mother. So I did not realise until my health visitor said that things were wrong. I just thought, I'm stressed. And everybody would be stressed. And that's right, everybody would be stressed. But I wasn't myself anymore, and I kind of lost myself along the way. And I became a function. I was just this thing that existed for other people. I had to remember when people asked me what I liked, what I used to like, rather than what I actually liked then. It was really hard. And I think that a lot of people out there don't really understand what postnatal depression is. Yeah, it's feeling down, but it's a kind of, it becomes everything. It kind of just clouds your enjoyment. You can't enjoy things. You can't, you can't be yourself. Yeah, your enjoyment of your children, your enjoyment of life just kind of dwindles. It just kind of sticks with you. So that's why I'd kind of describe it as.
Thank you, Becky. It sounds like you've been through a really difficult time there. And what helped? What made a difference for you?
So my health visitor, who's a lovely, lovely lady, she said that I think you have postnatal depression. I'm going to refer you. She referred me to an NHS kind of support thing where they assessed me, and they got me in touch with a postnatal support group in my area. And they had weekly meetings, and I attended some of those. And when I went, I was like, oh, I really don't think I need to be here. This is not I'm just stressed. And then when I went there, I was like, okay, these are my people. And they were all describing exactly the same kind of thing that I was. Apparently, there's a certain type of person that gets postnatal depression. It's normally people that that feel responsible, and they are kind of driven people. They are hardworking people, and they want to do good by their children. Not saying that mothers don't generally want to do good by their children, but these people really want to just kind of go above, and they're the kind of people that that tend to be that type A kind of person, the like the achieving kind of people. And so the people that I had in the group were like, there was a lady who was in an ICU nurse. There was a manager there. There was a policewoman. These are people that are really hardworking people. And one of the first things, the first lesson of postnatal depression class is that you need to just stop and look after yourself. You need to make space for yourself. You need to stop giving so much and make space for yourself. Take some time. And so that was just kind of eye-opening for me, is that I needed to take time for myself. And that was okay. And having that time, I remember my first experience of just having a few hours, and I'm talking about hours, not just like a 10-minute chunk, like a few hours, so 3 hours of time by myself without my children. I was just buzzing, just like full of adrenaline, because I'd spent months and months and months just constantly running from one task to another. I had no idea what to do with myself. And it was, yeah, it was like an eye-opening experience that I just could not calm down. But doing that regularly, that really helped me to be able to start thinking properly, and get to grips with how I was feeling and start to process it. And then I could then move on to starting to look at how I was thinking about stuff. So they gave us a list of unhelpful thinking strategies, and there was a whole list of them, and included things like, being critical about yourself.
Yeah, you've got a couple of things to share with us, haven't you? Do you want to share those couple of things then? What was the first one? Was to do with critical self. I've got a picture to put up. Is that okay to share that now?
Yes.
Okay, let's put that up.
So often, especially as a mother, we can look at ourselves and just, we're not operating in the way that we want to be, like say the what we imagine the best mum to be. And so because of that, we put ourselves down, and like, oh, I should have done that better. I'm such a bad mum. I'm doing so badly. And if we kind of take a step back and we think about what it is we're saying to ourselves, would we actually ever say that to one of our friends? Would we say that to someone we love? We are so hard on ourselves, and that doesn't help how we're feeling and how we're processing stuff. And then there's another, I was just going to pick out a few of them that I found were particularly appropriate. Shoulds and musts. I think you've got an image for that as well.
Yeah, shoulds anyway.
Yeah, so we can often feel that we should do these things. We should be taking our children out to the park. We should be feeding them healthy things all the time. We shouldn't be putting them in front of the TV. We must do this. We must do that. And it's so much pressure that we put on ourselves to be perfect. And why? Why do we need to do that? We wouldn't do that for someone else that we cared about. If someone of our friends came to us and said, look, I can't do all these things, we take that pressure off of them. We just say, no, it's going to be okay. You don't have to do all that stuff to be perfect or to raise your child in the best way. And then
one more, haven't you? One more.
Yeah, compare and despair. Oh my goodness, I do this so often. So especially with social media right now, comparing each other is so easy. So you see someone else, or maybe not even someone you know, but like a famous person, and they're managing to, to be an incredible career person, as well as always being there for their children and never being stressed, and getting everything right all the time. And you are struggling to even feed yourself because you're that busy. And it just makes you feel so awful. And it's actually not realistic either. These people don't exist. They're just imaginary. Everybody struggles. So yeah, these thinking strategies are just not helpful, and then also not realistic.
Thanks for all you've said so far, Becky. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your faith and how faith's helped you in a few moments, please?
Yeah. So I believe so. I've been a Christian for a long time, and when all this happened, I found it really, really hard to talk to God because I was so tired and I was struggling so much. But I didn't even know what was wrong with me, and God, He brought people into my life to support me. I had such an incredible support network, and this health visitor, she just spotted something that I wasn't even aware of myself. And then she put me in touch with this incredible support group with these incredible therapists who have just been life-changing. They've just really, really helped so much with not just like the postnatal depression, but the way that I see myself in general. And he knew that was going to happen. And I believe that that was something that he kind of tailor-made for me. So it's been really, he's been so helpful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Becky.